Mm, Good evening, Haiti. Good to see you back. Your shirt, I got your shirt ordered. I got your address, so it should be sent to you soon. See, still in here. Well, hey y'all. Welcome to Keena's Corner. I'm your girl Keena, and I thank you sincerely for being here in my corner. Here on Keena's Corner, I speak facts, opinions, truths, vulnerabilities, and need to knows. If you're here, go ahead and hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you have not. I would appreciate it. If you watch it at a later date and you decide to do the same, I'd appreciate that as well. If you are here in the comments and you come in while I'm speaking, I'll catch your comment at the end. If you hang around, I'll acknowledge it. I won't stop while I'm in the midst, though, in the midst of speaking on the topic. So I'm excited again, like I was last week. This makes season two, and this is officially episode one. So season two, episode one. Um, so this topic is I think it's a really good one, a really good topic. I think it's gonna be a great episode. It's maybe some men to go back and listen to it, or the women as well, because women need to hear this too. We need a reminder. It'll be a great one. Just stick around with me. So, if you read the title or my topic for tonight, men don't cry, or do they? All right. So, just to jump in, let's get into this. First, I want to say, contrary to popular belief, men do have feelings, men do cry. And yes, I know we as women, we do know that. We already know that. But I think sometimes we need a reminder. Men are emotional just like women, they are emotional just like us. Sometimes we forget that. But they do tend to try and hide or suppress their emotions, but they do have them. They have them. Men get stressed and they have worries just like we do. They do. Um, but a lot of the times you're just not gonna know it until it's too late. So, man or woman, when you suppress your emotions, eventually it's gonna come out. Eventually, and mostly when men suppress it for so long or try to hide it, um, or car I can't even say my word. When they try to suppress it for so long, it's going to come out. But usually it's going to come out in a negative way. It's going to come out as in anger and rage. And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is sit and think about for a minute. Think about like prison systems, how they're mostly like occupied by men. That is a fact. You can look that up. I looked it up the other night. And I think there are about 93% men in prison and then like 7% of women, which is awful. But that's my point. Um, and I'm sure a lot of it probably comes from like anger, rage, these violent crimes. So let's talk about a little bit on why aren't men vulnerable and seem emotionless. And I said seem like it's not proven fact that they don't have emotions. Seem as if like appear to be. Like so why aren't men vulnerable and they seem emotionless? Well, one reason, simply put, they're taught from very young or a little boy that they should not show emotion. And all of us have done this pretty much especially as parents. If you're a mom to boys, you've definitely done this before. You know how you tell your children or your boys stop crying all the time? Well, and I've done it too. I've done it too. It's often learned behavior. And maybe they had a father who never showed them emotion or they learned it. It was taught to them. Most men who don't like showing emotion weren't encouraged to show their sensitive side. Keep that in mind. And I've talked to many men in like adult, like, now, my current life who can like vouch for this. But know that it's very important for every man to know that he's loved. And it's important that the little boy knows that he can express himself without being scolded or judged by you. I hope you heard that one. That's good. As a woman, you've got to be vulnerable first and, give little boys that space and then give the men that space as well, that safe place. You've got to be that. We are quick to tell little boys that they are to not cry or show any emotion, and that is bad. It's bad. But like I said, I've done this before too, so I'm learning better. So usually when you tell them this, they don't. They don't. This top behavior won't let them cry or it won't let them be vulnerable because it's something that we're teaching them. For a lot of men, crying is seen as a weakness. Okay. Another reason they seem emotionless and like they won't be vulnerable men. Another reason they choose just to brush it off. If if the man can't solve that problem right then, like he ain't got no solution right then, or like he just can't get the answer to his problem right then, he's gonna brush it off. Mostly he's gonna do whatever's necessary to avoid having to deal with those deep emotions, having to deal with that problem. Usually they'll choose to brush it off. Honestly, because they don't even want to deal with those hard feelings. Another reason men seem like they're not vulnerable or emotionless is difficult to even admit. And this is for anybody. This is not just man. Like, what everybody says, like the hardest or the first step is admitting that there is a problem. Well, that's hard for anybody, not just a man. Okay? Not just a man. Admitting there's a problem, especially like aloud or out loud, that is very hard. That is hard. It's tough for anybody. So for a man to admit that they are struggling with anything, it's gonna be hard for them, just like it would be for us. They're gonna feel like they couldn't handle whatever that problem was on their own, like they weren't man enough to do it on their own. That's the issue as well. That's good. So again, if they feel like they can't do it on their own, like they needed help with their problem, then they're gonna begin to feel weak, right? But men, please, if you in here or whenever you come, hear me. You are not weak. You are not weak. You're human. You're a human being who has feelings, and your feelings do matter. So these three reasons, being taught to not show emotion, not to cry, choosing to brush it off, and then being difficult to, it being difficult to admit that there even is a problem, is usually how this issue keeps going. And it almost most of the time it's how he wants it. He just hopes the problem will go away. But we all know that it won't. He knows that it won't. A sad reality is that it's sad because men are looked at as weak for seeking help, for crying, for showing emotion. But that leads to invulnerability, not vulnerability. I said invulnerability, meaning they won't show emotion. They're gonna try their best to cover it up, not to go deep with you, not to speak with you openly. They're gonna try to do that because a lot of times when they do express emotion, a lot of times when they do, you know, cry, they're judged for it. They're scolded for it. They're seen as weak, so they won't. That's why they won't. Men, they don't deal with stress like women do. A lot of women verbalize. And what I mean verbalize, literally speak. You speak to somebody about it. You express how you're feeling. We express openly how we're feeling. A lot of women do. We sometimes, we exercise or you find something that you like doing. Journal, something like that. A lot of men won't do that, right? Um, Even some women seek help. I've done it before. I've had a therapist. I highly recommend to anybody. If you feel, that's what you need to do. Men internalize, not externalize. Internalize like on the inside. They hold things in. They're gonna keep holding it in. And when it becomes too much, it usually is going to show externally eventually. That's what I'm saying. Eventually it's gonna come out. But by then it's usually not in a good way. That's where, like them holding things in for so long, suppressions of emotions comes out as anger or something unhealthy. Something unhealthy. And by something unhealthy, like that's a that's a plethora of different things, a whole avenue of different things. It could be like acts of violence or negative coping behaviors. Negative coping behaviors could be anything, bad habits, bad behavior. If you use an excessive amount of anything, that is a bad habit. Excessive amount of drugs, alcohol, popping pills, things of that nature. Even sex. Some people use sex as a coping mechanism. They don't care how risky it is, how, dangerous it is. They don't care who it's from either. That's a problem. But some men actually, or men and women, they turn to these coping mechanisms, but they're negative though, because simply a lot of times they have built things up and they don't want to express themselves. So they try to brush it off, but it just is not helping. Internalizing does not help men. I hope you hear me. Of course, we all know that stress affects the body when it comes to health. Most, I think, really what you think about is your blood pressure and, of course, your heart, which could both like kill you dead, of course. So, I encourage I encourage you to be open. It's okay to express your emotions. Not all of us will judge you. Not all of us are going to judge you or make you feel unheard. I think it's so beautiful when a man can open up and be vulnerable, with us or with someone else. And ladies, him being able to like communicate with you, like openly communicate with you, will only strengthen the bond the two of you have anyway. So I ask you to be that safe place because you're needed. You are needed. So, as women, how do we support our little boys, like our children, our babies, our boys, and our men? How do we support them? So, women, if you do have young boys, and I have two, encourage them to be open. And again, like I said, I'm working on this myself. I have two little boys. Let them express themselves without any judgment from you. Like, don't tell them stop crying all the time, right? Um, my oldest son is like he's very sensitive, like literally, he's sensitive. But I try to let him cry when he needs to. Well, we had a little tough conversation not long ago about somebody dying in our family. He told me he didn't want to cry. And I was like, well, it's okay to cry. Grown men cry. And I mean, instantly he just bawled. He boohoo. Ooh, it broke me to pieces. But I needed to I let him have his moment because he needed to express those emotions. Usually, and then sometimes that's what happened with your children too. When they cannot express themselves and they start cutting up at school or they just having these anger fits and you can't figure out what it is, they got something built up that you need to be trying to figure out what's going on with them on the inside. So please let your little boys express themselves. It's okay to be vulnerable. If not, you're gonna raise these men who are emotionless, who they acting hard, but deep down, like inside soft as a teddy bear. It starts young. Encourage your young boys to speak up, to be open, to cry, because it's okay. It does not make you weak. Okay. Um, also, let's see. Another way women we can help support our boys and our men. Um, You've got to be a safe haven. You've got to be a safe place for him. You have got to be his peace. Be his peace. He should be able, that man, your partner, your mate, your spouse, your boyfriend, should be able to be vulnerable around you without you ever throwing it back in his face. And I needed to say that. Let him be vulnerable in your presence. If he needs to cry, let him cry. But you don't throw that back up in his face. You don't bring it back up. And actually, a man crying in front of you or being vulnerable in front of you is actually, like I said, it's a beautiful thing. That means he trusts and love you, and you might be the only person that he has ever opened up to. Let that one sink for a minute, because that's a good one. You might be the only person who's ever given him that space to absolutely be himself and to express how he feels. Think about that for a second. That's deep. That is deep. So when he opens up to you, allow him to do so. Accept it. Be accepting. Him speaking with that vulnerability is already a rare occurrence. We know this. You see it on social media every day. People talk about how men don't express emotions, and how they're emotionless. Right? It's a rare occurrence. So when you do get the opportunity, if it ever happens, you've got to be accepting. You've got to be a safe place. You cannot judge him. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to push him away because you feel like he should man up. I'm telling you, that ain't the way to go. Okay. Another way, ladies, we can be a safe place, right? For our men. You treat them like you treat a friend. You know how your friend is open and honest with you and they tell you their deepest, darkest secrets, and they, you make a promise or whatever. They just expect you not to tell it, or they don't want you telling their business. Well, the same way that you treat your friend, you've got to treat your man the same way. If he comes to you, if he finally opens up to you, he's giving you this vulnerable moment, and then he tells you something in private, in secret. Don't they don't give you the space to go, running and gossiping, telling his business. That's gonna make him not ever do that again. Okay. If they tell you something in secret, you keep it that way. Build your trust. Also, another way, ladies, to be this safe place for our men, be available. If they need to talk to you, listen. Don't just hear them, but listen, because there is a difference between the two. Understand that a lot of men are simply not willing to talk, to be vulnerable, to show emotion, to cry, to have deep conversations. They are not willing to. A lot of men are not. When it involves these feelings, they just not willing to do it. They rather not talk. So if they do, you've got to sit and listen. Listen with intent. Listen intentionally. Um, I kind of just said this one. Another way, ladies, we can be a safe place for our men. Never use what they say against them. Do not throw it back in his face. If he open up to you, don't. You've got to. I know a lot of women. We have to learn to listen, not to respond, but really listen to understand. Did you catch that? You know how you arguing with somebody and you wait on them to stop talking so you can say what the fuck you finna say. You want to get your lick back, or you want to say something back to what they said. We got to learn not to be like that. Again, learn not, you got to learn to listen, not to respond, but really listen to understand what somebody's trying to get through to you. I hope that made sense. Hope it made sense. When a man finally shows his emotion and you respond negatively or in a negative manner, it's going to seem judgmental to them, and they will probably never feel comfortable speaking to anybody else, or let alone you again. Not when it involves emotions. Hear me. Um, Another reason why you don't throw things back in their face, because honestly, just be honest with yourself. As women, honestly, nobody really gives us this treatment, and men really don't have this safe place to be vulnerable. You hear women talk about it all the time. You got friends and girlfriends and girl groups and mom groups and this and that. Even I got a Facebook group on social media. It's a women's group, all women. Beautiful Queen Safe Haven is where all women can come and talk and say whatever they want to, no judgment. Sometimes they can post anonymous. We don't even know who it is. I do, because I accept it or approve the post. But men don't have safe place like this. So you've got to be there for them, women, my sisters. Okay. Ladies, you are needed. And I hope you understand that. Men may never tell you that, but listen to me. They need us. You've got to be a safe place if you want him to open up. Another way, ladies, we can be the safe place for our men. Open up first. You be vulnerable, as with him, and show that you're trustworthy. And then eventually he's going to do the same. Just you're encouraging him. Like, honestly, without even saying it, you're encouraging him to be the same. If somebody know they can trust you, they're going to be more susceptible to opening up to you. But give them a reason to trust you. Okay. Another way, ladies, we can be a safe haven to our men. Be interested. And hear what I say on this. You have to be interested, okay? Interested. I told you to listen, right? Listen with intent, not just hearing, but listen. But no matter if they want to vent, like talk about a long day, they got something they need to get off their chest, let them talk. If they want to share a success, maybe they got their new vehicle, maybe they got their promotion, they did something good, listen to them and celebrate with them, or even them just wanting to talk, and you don't even got to say nothing. But I do ask that you listen. And when I say about be interested, it's like your body language matters, is what I'm saying. Your body language matters if somebody's talking to you. If I'm talking to you and I roll my eyes, do I seem like I'm interested? No, I seem annoyed, right? Yeah, if you're talking to me and I keep huffing and puffing, do I sound interested? Or do I look interested in what you're saying? It's like I'm gonna say, I wish you would shut the fuck up and just go handle it. You a man. That's what they think. Your body language matters. So be interested, and you have to show interest as well. Show. You've got to show it. Okay. So if they talking to you, just look at them. Give them eye contact. Look them in the eyes. If they say something you agree with, nod your head. But you've got to be interested. If not, you're gonna give off that judgmental vibe without you even saying it. Just your body language. Okay. Um, like I was saying, if he's speaking, you just stop what you're doing and give him your undivided attention. You listen to him and don't interrupt. And all of this, honestly, it may sound childish or, like you're babying this man, but just think, like I said earlier, this is probably the only time he's had this opportunity, and you may just be speaking to that young boy inside of him. Listen to him, because nobody really does us that way. If you be honest with yourself, women have safe places they can go to. Be honest with yourself. So, just when the time comes, I hope that you are there and available for that man to be open with you. So, women like me would love for somebody to come along that's emotionally available. But as long as we keep bashing them for being open, it's never going to happen. We always say, and I say we because we're a collection of women, we always say, we can't keep saying men won't open up. And when they do, we judge them. And we're bad at that. We are bad at it as women. We always say these men won't open up, or they so emotionless and they so heartless and stuff like that. But the couple of times that they do, usually they made fun of. How would you feel? You can't say that. That's like an oxymoron. You're contradicting yourself. You want them to open up, or do you not? Boom. So, how to be in safe place, like I was saying, y'all hear him. It sounds simple, but it is complex. A lot of times, like I said, we are so ready to speak that we never hear or listen to what is being said. If they let you speak, let them speak. Mama taught you that. If they let you speak, without interrupting you, and they are listening intentionally or intently to you, listen to them just the same. He has to feel heard. A man has to feel heard. Write that down if you didn't hear what I said. Type that down there if you didn't hear what I said. A man has to feel heard. It does matter. I encourage you not to hear simply to have a comeback or response. Really listen to him if he's sharing any emotion with you. And I said any. It's important. Be comfortable around him, and eventually he will do the same with you. Once he is comfortable, don't judge or share with others what he trusted you with. In a world that tells men not to complain, not to cry, to man up, we have to be that safe place. That's just period. Ladies, you've got to be his safe place. Men must feel appreciated, supported, held down, heard, and respected. When the world doesn't do it, you should absolutely let your man express himself without any fear or judgment, backlash, or you sharing what was vulnerable to him. He shouldn't have that fear, not with you, the one that he's with, his partner, his woman. His safe place is what you should be. So, my guys, my fellas, my guys, my men, my brothers who are coming along, if you hear this or coming along, you are appreciated. You are kings. You are needed. You are loved by us. There's some good women out here who love you and appreciate you. You loved by me. I want you to know that there are some queens who will love and accept you for just, how you are and just for who you are. You don't have to hide your emotions. With the right woman, you can express anything. And I do mean anything. And it will never be thrown back in your face. So, to my men, I love you and I'm proud of you. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going, my kings. I'm done. I'm done, y'all. This was season 2. Season 2. Clap. Y'all put some claps down there in the comment section. Season 2, episode 1. Let me see what y'all doing, talking about over here. Mm. Hey y'all. Hey mama. Hey Auntie DB. Men experience sadness, anxiety, and depression, and real men do cry. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Autism full is not a weakness. Absolutely not. Nope. Not. That's beautiful right there. If a man can express himself, that's beautiful. See, baby girl, that's real good. But like, you know, I won't. I can't do that. Never. Pressure burst pipes. It does. It does. Well, I thank y'all. I see four of y'all in here. I don't know if you're in here or not. Like I said, y'all, I appreciate y'all for stopping by. This is season 2, episode 1. I think it's a very much needed topic. Um, I'm gonna get out of here. If y'all have not liked the video, please do that for me. If you like, give me a share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss when I post. To my podcasters, I will have this uploaded in I guess about an hour or two. Y'all be looking for me. So this was season 2, episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm your girl Keena from Keena's Corner. I thank you again, sincerely, for being here in my corner. I'm out, signing out. I love y'all. Good night.